Well, judging from the carving on your desk, it looks like his name is Ozzy.
Yes, and apparently he rules.
All right, everybody.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So apparently, according to a friend of mine, this idiot rumor that the Ray movie is going forward has again raised its ugly head everywhere. And the scoundrel doing it is Daniel Richtman, Daniel RPK. The problem that I think anybody with a brain should have with this is they have no writer. The director seems to have gone to ground, and Daisy has said nothing about it. And the fact of the matter is, forwarding the sequel trilogy does nothing for Star Wars. All right, we're not living in an era anymore where this might have been a good idea, period. I think people like Daniel Richtman forget what happened last November 5th. The kind of movie making, the woke crap that the sequel trilogy is, has been soundly rejected. Now, I know there are a lot of black pills out there saying, Hollywood doesn't care, they just pay themselves. Hollywood has shareholders, and all shareholders agree with the woke filth, right? There are plenty of gay people who hate it, by the way, just FYI. And they soundly reject any of the radical bullshit, right? This would appeal to a very small number of individuals, and it would be a failure on the scale of Dial of Destiny and Solo, right? So why on earth is this being floated out there? Well, first off, while Rickman may be a, quote, leaker, quote, I've never found him to be exactly as correct as people say he has been. So let's have some doubt here, okay, if you're even thinking that this is true. Because a lot of people who are woke are saying that this movie's dead and has been dead for 2 years. And I'm talking about Jason Ward at Making Star Wars. I don't really know what is going on with the other blue pills on YouTube and elsewhere, but that was 2 years ago that he said this movie was dead. It's not going forward. And the idea that Daniel Richtman would post something so stupid just tells me he's nothing more than an engagement farmer like Gary Beekler and the rest of them. He wants to make money, so he's going to put bullshit out there. And the problem that people have is that they can't discern bullshit from the truth. It's kind of like people thinking Kennedy's staying around after her incoherent, insane babbling to the Deadline reporter last February. No, she said she's leaving. Did you not read what she said? Okay, the same thing here. There's no market for it. Times have changed. It's time to move on from the sequel trilogy. Let's talk more.
Argle, gargle, google, goo.
What?
Now you know how it feels. What are you talking about?
Talking about.
Pardon me. I have to go poke out my mind's eye.
What an odd combination of odors. Smells like a fish died and all the other fish sent flowers.
In keeping with the trusty adage, starve a cold, disgust a fever. Dad, when are you going to stop blighting the environment with this atrocity? My God, can't you see that it wants to die? Let it go.
That is one big pile of shit.
On November 5th of 2024, the American people rose up, loudly proclaiming they were done with woke crap by electing Donald Trump to be president of the United States, period. And he has done more to remove wokeness from the government and forced universities to do the same thing than anybody could imagine. Disney got rid of Reimagine Tomorrow and other DEI things. Now, they still have DEI floating around, but to me, it's meaningless. And we're in a new era. We're in an era where people are sick and tired of it. The Sydney Sweeney ad proves it, and the screams and hue and cry of the dying woke mob testifies to the fact that people are now telling them to shut the fuck up. So let's talk about the Ray movie. Here's Ray, action figure. They're not making them anymore. The last time I actually saw one, and this has been sitting on the Target shelf for a while, was like a 5-pack of Jedi and Sith. She's one of them, and Kyle Ron's the other. Right, that's it. That's where you see it. And it's not a new figure. They're just repackaging the ones that couldn't sell to try to sell them with popular figures like Darth Vader and Darth Maul. And that's what's actually happening with the sequel trilogy. There's no reason for it. It's financially a stupid thing to do. Really stupid. You want to lose more money than you ever had before? Please do it. Secondly, you can't sell merch. Hasbro would go broke if they decided to go full on following the prequel or the sequel era. If you watch what's going on, they're giving an emphasis to the prequels. And Hayden Christensen is now basically the face of the franchise, not Daisy Ridley. If you remember, Daisy even said she was ambushed at lunch the day of the Star Wars celebration in London. She didn't know that Kennedy was going to drop this whole idea on her, and she was ambushed. This movie is just a figment of Kathleen Kennedy's imagination. Let's talk more.
Hey, are you going to be in a new Ray movie?
Thank you, Oscar. No.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Appreciate you, man.
So, why would Oscar Isaac say no, that they're not going to have his character in it, which it's like, you're not? Or is it because he knows there's no Ray movie? Daisy knows there's no Ray movie. Look, Stephen Knight, the so-called writer, is writing James Bond now, which, from what I can tell, I think is a more lucrative franchise right now than Star Wars because of Kathleen Kennedy's horrible leadership. These 3 movies should not exist in the way they exist. They should not have even been thought of. They don't continue the story. Now, I know a lot of people, even in Hollywood, have been, Liam Neeson saying they've watered down the franchise with other characters, blah, blah, blah. And I know others have complained about reboots and sequels. It's not the fact that it's a sequel. You're supposed to tell the continuing story. And what we got was a reboot of the entire franchise, whether Disney wants to admit it or not, and it failed. I mean, look, Bob Iger's never going to come out and say how much money they actually lost. But if you look at the things that have been canceled since buying Lucasfilm, the films have not broken even. I don't care what, Molly Damon and the rest of the human waste on the blue pill side think. They're there not because they love the franchise and storytelling. They love the politics. And when you've got someone who loves politics and they're in the middle of the pop culture, they're not going to do anything that they think goes against their politics. And I don't think they would have liked a non-woke Star Wars. But really, would it have mattered if it made money? See, that's the thing. Let's go to Sydney Sweeney. She shows up basically does a rehash of the 1980 Calvin Klein commercial with Brooke Shields, and American Eagle is selling out of those jeans. That's what happens. The moment you make something appealing, people want it. When you make it unappealing, Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, Vice Admiral Gender Studies, Rose Potato Sack Tico, and throw in your stupid pronouns and all the rest of this shit, people are going to turn their backs, and they did. And, you know, if you look at the storytelling of Star Wars, there was no storytelling in the sequel trilogy. It was 3 incoherently connected movies. The only thing that connected them was the same characters. Now, again, if Rian Johnson had been somebody like, Ridley Scott, or some other great director, those movies would have been a coherent story. But since Kennedy can't handle an alpha male, because she never learned how to work within a male-dominated organization, she got, directors she could bully. This is a woman who has never had sons. Let's put it that way. So she doesn't really know how to deal with the masculine side of things. And that's the problem with the sequel trilogy. Again, for all the blue-haired land whales, Molly Damon and all the rest of them, hyperventilating, Star Wars is not a girls' franchise. And when you tried to make it a girls' franchise, it failed. And a Rey movie would just make it worse. And everybody knows it. Disney knows it. So why Daniel RPK Rickman, whatever the hell his name is, posted this, the only logical explanation I have is he's engagement farming. Because he knows people get pissed off when they see it. And that is not the way you journalist. That is not the way you journalist, in my opinion. All right? And so, is there a Rey movie? No. Could there be a Rey movie down the line? I don't know, but it will be decades from now. And I don't really think it'll happen anymore, because what Kennedy was advocating was actually unnatural in the franchise. Completely unnatural. It didn't belong. And it will never belong. So is there a Rey movie? No. And I'm tired of talking about it, but every once in a while I gotta say something, because some idiot out there puts it out there, not because it's true, it's because they make money. They're engagement farming. This is Steph signing out. See you around the galaxy.